So I'm gonna give y'all a quick rundown on how to install a water heater. See if you can do it yourself. But if you don't know what you're doing, go ahead and seek professional help. We got our new water heater unboxed. So what we're gonna do here is move it over to the spot. So this is the spot where the old one was at. And it's really simple, especially when you're using one of these flex gas lines right here. My rule with these gas lines is if you could just go ahead and get a brand new one anytime you're swapping out a stove or anything like this, because I mean, you never know. Or you could just double check it and make sure it's not leaking once you hook it up. But before I push it over to my spot, I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw some thread tape on here. The thread tape I like to use is the Blue Monster. You can use it for water lines and gas pipes. So see that, minimum 3 wraps. What we're gonna do here is just wrap this around these threads on each one. You gotta make sure which way you're actually twisting it on there though. So I'm starting from here, and I'll put that there, and then I'll wrap it around. Now my end point is right here. So when I go ahead and twist the thread on there, what it's going to do is push that tape right off. Instead of starting here going this way, we're going to go the backwards way. So if you're going to be twisting it on this way, go ahead and wrap it that way, because the thread is going to be on the opposite side of the starting thread for our line, and it won't unwind that tape as it's tightening down. So you want to go ahead and start it like this. Boop, I'll put my first piece down there, and then I'm gonna just start wrapping it. And we can go off of what they said on the package, just say minimum of 3 wraps. So you're gonna go ahead, whoop, that's 2, that's 3. Then you're gonna pull it, break it off, access, just wrap it around there. I like to kind of twist it with my hand so it can stay on there. Then I'm gonna do the same thing for this one here. See if I can do it with one hand. Let's see, do I got some skills? Yeah, bird. I like to pull it a little tight. You don't pull it too tight because it'll just break off. I like to do one more wrap just in case. So boom, pull that, break that off. Now, you see like the end of this. So you see that the tape is going this way. So it's going the way of the thread that's actually gonna twist on there. If it was going the other way, all it'll do is take this and unwind it. So you wanna go the same way you're gonna be twisting on, pretty much. I'm gonna wheel this over in place and start tightening down my fitting. So a few tools that you might need for this job is 1 or 2 pipe wrenches, need some Teflon tape, and you might need a drill or a screwdriver. And then another part that you wanna grab is a discharge line for the safety release valve right here. Definitely want to get one of these so it can direct the water straight down to the bottom. And also too, depending on where you're at, you might need a drain pan under there also. So just check your codes. We're gonna go ahead and wrap some Teflon tape around this. Also, you see this one came off of the old tank, so there's nothing wrong with it. So we're gonna go ahead, try to get some of this tape off and then throw new tape on there. Get that boy screwed up in here and put this water heater in place. Got the water heater in place. If you have a shark bite, it's good to have this shark bite removal tool. So what I did was hook this tool up here, and on one of these ends, one side is bigger, one side is smaller. The bigger part go on top inside of the groove, like so. And then you just squeeze it, and what it'll do, it'll squeeze that little fitting right here at the bottom, and then it'll allow you to push up and pull that out. So I pulled that out, and then I went ahead and tightened this down. Same thing with this one here, I tightened this one down. And now it's time to turn on some water to see if it's leaking. Y'all see they had a past leak before, so they had this little bowl right here. This is not doing that. We need to take that down. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the water on. That boy up wide. Now the tank is filling up. Make sure your tank is solid. Make sure it's not rocking. If it is rocking, you might have to put like some spacers underneath to stop it from rocking. And then as it's filling up, make sure your drain valve is closed there. And just let that bad baby fill up. So now we just need to hook up this gas line right here. We're gonna let it fill up before we even do anything, just to make sure it's not leaking. So while it's filling up, we can go ahead and hook up the gas line. So you see this for natural gas only. If you have propane and stuff like that, make sure you have the right water heater, we have this valve here. This one here is going to go here. That's going to screw in like so. And then this little curve in here, that's going to go on your gas line. See that little groove in there? It's like a little ring. And this little ring, see that little groove that goes around there? You don't need to put tape around here because this is pretty much like a like a compression ring almost. You don't have to tighten it too tight, but before you do that, make sure you put Teflon tape on this end right here. Tape or paste. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap some tape around this end. And then on our other end here, it says flow on there. That's the gas flow. So you want to make sure this end goes to the shutoff part, and you want to wrap this with tape also. But that's going to go there like so. Make sure that's nice and tight. After we hook this up, we're going to check and make sure none of these parts are leaking. This whole line, since we're reusing it, we don't want no gas leaks. So on these two fittings right here, this is the fitting that goes on the gas line side. So as you can see, it says flow on there with arrows. You want to make sure you install this the right way. See, I got my blue Teflon tape on there, or you can use tape or paste. Really don't matter. As long as it's tight and it's not leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and twist this in first. Hit this bad baby with a pipe wrench. Make sure this stuff is tight. Then our next end, which is this here, this is going to be the other like receiving end of that gas line. You see both of these fittings are pretty much the same because these have like a flare nut on it where pretty much compression locked down. Say you do not have to put paste or tape around there. Some people still do it for extra measure, but we're not going to do it. They said we don't have to do it, so we just going to not do it that way and then check for leaks. So this end is going to go here. You don't want to crank on that too much because you don't want to mess up this gas valve right here. Go ahead and tighten that down. Comes in handy when you got enough tape on there too, because it's going to seal it. There we go. So it's tight. I don't want to tighten too much. I don't want to break nothing. So now it's time for the gas line. You got your flex line. You're gonna put that down. This can be a little tricky sometimes. So as you twist this on, you want to make sure that this stays in the middle of that nut, because you could tighten it and it'd be stuck at an angle. It's going to leak. So you want to make sure you kind of float this in the middle as you're tightening it to make sure it's right in the middle. And then go ahead and tighten it down. So same thing with the other end. I'm gonna take this, screw that on here. Same thing. See how I'm floating this, making sure it stay in the middle as I hand tighten. Very important. Then we're gonna take pliers, boop, 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 tighten. Gotta do too much. All right, now it's time to light the hot water tank. It is filled up already. I like to test the TPR valve right here just to make sure it's working. And this one is definitely working. Very strong. I like doing that to make sure ain't no water. I mean air in the lines. See how it is. It's shooting. Get that water out the tank, the air out the tank. Now I got a mess to sweep up over here and push this over to the drain. So before we light the tank, we're gonna go ahead and turn on the gas. And then we're gonna take some soapy water. You can take some soapy water in a spray bottle and spray around the fittings to see if it make an air bubble. If it makes a bubble, then you have a leak. So let's do it. Uh-oh. So I'll spray around there. We are good. But you see, take a look here. We have a big bubble right there. This is why you use soapy water. So I knew this valve actually was gonna leak because as I was taking it off, it twisted, but we got a new one and we're gonna throw that on there and be good to go. And if you have a leak like this and they don't sell this part, go ahead and just buy a whole new line.
You can follow them because I'm going the other way. Chasing after paper, trying to redirect the way.